The latest episode of Solo Leveling is the highest rated anime episode this year, being rated 9.9 out of 10. This was episode 12. I made the script a couple months ago, so that rating has dropped a little bit, but initially this episode was rated at 9.9 out of 10. This is absolutely crazy because this anime has been breaking websites and setting records on Crunchyroll left and right. But is it really well deserved? To find out, we'll be looking through the story of season 2 to see if it's really special. How does Solo Leveling season 2 compare to season 1? Solo Leveling season 2, in my opinion, was going to be a hard pull because season 1 was very entertaining in my opinion. Our main character, Sung Woo, awakening his powers and becoming one of the most powerful characters I have ever seen in anime. How can this outdo itself? Well, I think this show automatically starts off with a bang, having our main character get put into a red gate. A red gate is when no one from the outside world can enter it anymore, and time goes by way faster in here. On top of that, the level of the gate gets astronomically more difficult as we see the main squad for this gate gets eliminated like this. This is really great because Woo is not going to let these innocent people with him die. They are some of the first people in the show that get to see how ridiculous he is. You get reminded of how powerful he is. Seeing that the top ranked hunter in this red gate gets summoned by him and he's able to have him by his side now for the rest of the fucking show, which is insane. We ended season 1 with Go Hee, one of the few S rank hunters that wants to kill Jin because his brother died in the gate when Sung Woo was there. He was gonna meet Jin at the start of the show, but the red gate stops him from being able to kill him. And in my opinion, I'm glad it did because we get introduced to a new character. He appears mysteriously and he says he's basically from the future, saying humanity is screwed. Gates in this world are just the tip of the iceberg of what's really going on in the world. We find out he's actually Jin's dad, and he was able to defeat one of the S-ranked hunters, Go Hee. And sadly, we don't really see him after this episode during the show. There are brief moments in this season where our main character asks questions about the system and trying to find out how or where he got his powers from. And every time he does this, the system itself just starts to glitch out. Whether it's a person he's talking to or a monster he's talking to, they just start to glitch out of nowhere. And this has never happened before in the show, which makes things really interesting for me. These small parts are what really intrigued me the most because I think all this power he is getting is going to come with a cost. I'll touch on this more later. Having Jin be humble to raise cash with no one turning an eye to him was really cool to see because he could have easily just come out as a powerful hunter and gotten money that way, but he doesn't want to do that. And it's really funny because we see the miners impressed with his strength. They care about him deeply when a hunter party needs someone to carry equipment and he accepts it. This is the last time Jin is in the shadows and appears out of nowhere to save the day. Here, the strike team has nothing to defend themselves and Jin has to save them. This leads to his official rank being S tier. He is named the 10th person to have the S rank in Japan. Huge news. It's insane that he's able to pull this off because he started at E rank. Speaking of hard work, we see one of his more emotional moments in this story. This is where I was very annoyed with fans and the audience of this show because this episode was basically rated very low when it first came out. And because this episode has no action at all, but that doesn't mean that there's no action in the episode that the episode is going to be bad. Doesn't make sense, right? Well, in the show, Jin's huge goal for this entire story in the first place, so he can create the life elixir to save his mom. He has fought multiple times on the brink of death so many times just to get his mom back. And he finally gets all these ingredients to save her. So, episode 7 should be one of the most heartfelt of the series because Jin has done the impossible. He brought his mother back from her coma, and it was such a beautiful moment. It reminds you of Jin being human. He finally gets his mom back, and she sees, like this, how hard life has been for him these last years without her. Now, the last impactful moment for me in the story just happened with episode 11, and that was seeing all of the top ranked people in this story getting demolished by the blue ant. I forgot his name. I think his name is Buru, if I'm not mistaken. We see that absolutely no one on this island can compete against him, and it scares the fuck out of me. He was straight up messing with these S rank hunters. The entire event was being live streamed too, which is pretty funny because I'm a streamer. So Jin was watching the entire time this raid happened, and he knew when they needed help. So he uses his shadow army and swaps places with one of them, and he is able to save this S rank group, which was one of the craziest endings for the show because cliffhanger. Then we get the next episode, which is one of the highest rated episodes. I believe it's episode 12, when he fights his blue ant. And this fucking episode was just insane. The animation, the fighting, just the amount of time and effort that they had to do for this episode must have been so much to pull it off, because it's one of the best animated episodes I have ever seen in my entire life. My main gripe with this show though, now if you have been on this channel and saw my video on Fire Force, you know I initially did not like Fire Force at all. Lacked it. Fire Force took a long time for me to be invested in because it had it appear at the end of season 1. What is it? It is a single aspect of a story that makes it stand out from most. I mentioned shows like AOT, Naruto, and Kuroko having it in the Fire Force video. I mentioned this because in my opinion, Solo Leveling is still lacking it. Without a doubt, this is one of the most biggest animes to come out in years, and it is enjoyed by many. But I still can't find it in this story. Everything so far seems pretty standard. We have a strong MC who values his family and protects others, which is good, but nothing unique. He is unique in this story, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't see this story standing out from other anime. I think the things carrying this show is just the action-packed sequences and animation, but that's it. There's nothing else that I see right now that makes me say whoa or feel a certain way like how I have felt with other shows like AOT, Naruto, and Kuroko. The only thing that I think can change this is if we find out more about how Jin is getting so powerful and where it's coming from. That's what I was talking about earlier. When he started asking questions to the system, that's when things got interesting, because we see the system doesn't want him to know the answers to these questions, and I think that would be the it in this story, because right now I don't think it has it. What makes it more annoying is when I see people review bomb the heartfelt story of him bringing his mom back to life, and the internet just review bombs it because there's no action in it. You fools can't have a normal story with an actual plot where characters actually feel things and go through things. You just want fucking action-packed scenes, right? By no means am I taking away the fact that people really like the show, but people only wanting action just makes me upset. We need a story. We need world building to make these stories meaningful. Because if we just have action-packed sequences, then what's the point of the story? That's why things like AOT, where there's meaning in almost every little thing, is important. That's why the raw emotions that Naruto goes through and experiencing his entire life makes that story good. That's why seeing Kuroko struggle trying to show his previous friends from elementary that the way they play basketball is not right, and him trying to get to that point and how extremely difficult it is, brings more meaning into the story when he finally does it and finally shows Almin that basketball is a team sport, that once you connect with those people you can unlock insane potential with them, and we see the other side of the gate. But Solo Leveling doesn't have any of that for me right now, and maybe it will have that it moment where the system comes from, why it was doing these weird glitches to stop Jin from understanding where this power comes from. I think that's where we'll find it, and it'll make the story way better. But Solo Leveling, you do deserve it. You do deserve being highly rated. The animation alone and the fighting sequences is really good, but you're not my top anime. You're not in my top 5. You're not in my top 10 probably. There's no end in this story, but it is very entertaining, and I would say this anime is a great starter anime for people who don't watch anime, because it's simple, there's a lot of action, and there's a little heartfelt story too, but you don't have it. If you watched the video all the way through, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. We're close to 1,000 subscribers, so I really appreciate if you subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Make sure to check out my streams. I stream every Tuesday and Thursday. Usually have games going on. We have sponsorships going on over there. We talk about all things sports related, gaming related, anime related. Go check me out. And yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. And I will see you in the next one, guys. Have a great rest of the day. Peace, everybody.